log on.
Welcome.
www.listenvision.com.
The heart of Washington, D.C., across from the campus of historic Howard University. This is Listen Vision Live. No rules, just standards. Now broadcasting in all 50 states and over 50 plus countries worldwide. Listen Vision Recording Studios, Listen Vision Live, WLVS Radio is the largest streaming online broadcasting brand in the DC metropolitan area. WLVS is unique, commercial-free radio you can watch. Available on all mobile formats. WLVS Radio is completely app-free. Available on all mobile platforms. This is Listen Vision Live.
Revolution.
Yes, welcome to Addicted to Film. I am Travis Hopson. As you can see this week, Tim Gordon is not here once again. Now, I got a couple messages from people asking me where the hell Tim has been. Yes, it's true, Tim. People do wonder where you are. I don't concern myself with it. Yeah, well, kind of. I know he's not here. I don't know his exact location. I'm not that concerned with it. He is not here. But there are others who actually wonder where you are, Tim, and I just tell them you're off on some secret mission or something. So, but he's not here. So to take his place, as usual, I always bring in two people to cover for Tim because he likes to dominate things. Now I feel like I need two people to help do that. So, and in this case, I brought in two of my favorite critics in DC. Not just my favorite female critics, two of my favorite critics in DC.
They're so sweet.
Over here is Mae Abdulbaki. She has her own website, Movies with Mae. Movieswithmae.com is the address, right? And she also writes for Punch Drunk Critics, which is my group, of course. And in the middle here is Leslie Combemale. I always wonder if I say your last name right.
Combemale, but close enough.
I'm not going to be able to say it that way ever. Yeah, it's definitely a lot sexier than I could ever say it. And she's the Cinema Siren, which I always thought was a pretty cool name. So
Thank you.
Where'd that come from anyway?
Well, I love mermaids. I've always loved mermaids. I have them all over my house.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, my trusty assistant Christine made me an avatar with long flowing red locks, and I guide film lovers through a sea of celluloid, is what I say. Because I think people need some guidance.
Didn't the sirens lead people to crash on rocks and
Indeed.
Shit though?
Yes, they totally did.
So that's not necessarily a good thing.
So, well, I like to think that for every negative character in mythology, there's one representative positive character.
Who is this good siren? The one that leads you are her. Okay, you're the good siren. You're the good siren. Okay, you're the good siren. So I want to give you both a chance to kind of introduce yourselves a little bit because if people don't know you, and when I'm bringing people in here, I want them to really meet the people who are here. So Mae, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell people a little bit about you, a little bit about your site, and
ain't she pretty?
Ain't she pretty? Yeah, she is.
And also smart. But anyway, yeah.
Well, that too. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Mae.
My name is Mae Abdulbaki, like Travis said. I do run Movies with Mae, formerly the movieexaminer.com.
Everybody told her to change that name.
Yes.
I told her to keep it. I said it was fine.
Really? No.
Yes, I did. Tim kept telling you to change it. I said,
Ooh,
I said do what
pressure.
you want. I said do it. I said do what you want. I said if you like it, you should keep it.
But this one's kind of more me. I have a new avatar now that represents my site that a friend made, which is really great. Check out her stuff.
Where's it at?
She does graphic design for Custom Ink.
Okay.
Oh,
nice.
neato.
I need a shirt made. She's really good at that.
I need more shirts like this made. You can tell I'm comfortable with these two because I just pulled the first dorky shirt out of my closet. So
we like.
Right. So
okay. So
most women don't, but these two do. So it's okay. It's all good. It is true. It is true. But good.
But other than that, I started doing this almost 2 years ago now, and kind of been friends with you sort of ever since I think a few months after, and big movie buff, love music, just love eclectic things. I'm into Doctor Who now.
Oh God.
Now.
My new thing. And Travis hates when I talk about.
It's older than you.
I couldn't have less interest.
It's twice as old as you.
I could not have less interest in Doctor Who.
I have more interest in Doctor Strangelove. Let's be fair, right? If we're gonna get with the Doctor, let's go with that one. Or House.
But you know what though? I've been assured that if I actually sat down and watched it, I'd like it because it probably is something I would like.
It's like that geeky adventure.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't need our help. That's
right.
what
It doesn't
I'm
need
like.
it doesn't need that.
I mean, it's in theaters recently, the new episode, so I'm sure it has a cult following all on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't find myself that interesting. So
well, that's not true. But I became your friend. We were both at a luncheon for Film Fest DC back when it was still going on. Let's hope it comes back. Well, maybe not. We had Tony in here.
They had the DC Shorts Film Festival.
Yeah. Right. But Tony, the guy who runs it, was in here. Like we brought him in here, and so who knows? But but I became friends with you at a luncheon for that, and admittedly, I I became friends with you, and I had an ulterior motive, and that was because
You wanted to beat me on
I
the
did.
examiner.
Examiner.com ranks their examiners. They rank their examiners, and when and when I was doing it, I was like, who the hell is this girl that's always ahead of me on here? I was like, who is? I was like, who is this?
Oh my
I was like,
gosh.
who
That's
the hell
great.
is this? I was like, who is this person? So, but I met you at Examine and did not realize it was you. So and I didn't really talk to you. It wasn't because of that. I just didn't. And I looked at the thing one day and I was like, I just saw her. I was like, you son of a bitch.
It was Tim who started the conversation with me.
Tim was
because
talking
he
to
was
you.
being his usual self.
Tim was talking to you. I was talking to someone. Tim, it's a nice way of that's the nice way of putting it. Tim was being Tim.
Pretty much.
So I saw it and I was like, oh well, damn.
No, he sat down. He pulled open his laptop. He's like, "Ooh, look at this."
He said, ooh, nice shoes, which is really means nice feet. But anyway, sorry, Tim, I put that out there. But yeah, so I saw her and I was like, I just saw this girl and I was like, she's the one who's always ahead of me all the time. It's her. And I was like, let me see if I can beat her. And well, I did.
Yes. Well,
I
I worked
have.
part time then. I had much more
Yes.
time on my hands.
That's true. So I did, but we became cool. I invited you to be a part of Punch Drunk Critics. Now I call you my right hand gal because you are. You helped me out a
that's
lot.
sweet.
So yes, it's very sweet. It started off not so sweet, but it's sweet now.
Friendly competition.
Yes.
That's all.
And Leslie, let's talk about you for a second because you're not just a film critic, but you also run an art gallery.
Yes.
An art gallery which I like a lot. So
Thank
tell
you.
people about that right now.
Okay. Well, I am the owner of Art Insights Animation and Film Art Gallery, and it's been in Ruston Town Center outside Washington near Dulles Airport for 22 years.
Oh wow.
So I've been there a long time. I'm an international expert.
I know she
on-
doesn't look like she's older than 22. But
I'm an international expert on animation and film art. So pre-1960 original art from Disney and cartoons and
she holds
animation
panels
art.
at Comic-Con about
Yeah.
animation.
Which is
so.
pretty awesome.
That's
And,
really
and
cool.
movies and movie art. So the original art for movie posters. We represent some artists that actually made the movie posters. So I started a gallery. It was funny because I worked for someone else not that long and just decided I've always wanted to own my own store just randomly.
Yeah.
I'm from France, and I just thought it was charming, the idea of having a storefront and
Being your own boss.
yeah. Double-edged sword, but yeah. And I mean, it's interesting to, the place across the street, across the hall, because we're in the lobby of a building. So if you come to Ruston and if you're around here and you want to come see my gallery, you come through revolving doors of a building. And then across from me, there were 10 different, I don't think you know this, there were 10 different stores that opened and shut, including Charles Schwab. And they could not make it.
Really?
Suckers went off. So I was like,
Take
I can
that.
do it. Yeah. So yeah, Rosie the Riveter retail. And so I think the trick to having something stay long term is I have really, really loyal clients, which is nice. And I have beautiful artists that trust me and beautiful art. And I always am getting something other people don't have. So right now, as you know, because he wrote something about it on Punch Drunk. There's a new book, which you saw the cover of, but I would
did.
have brought it, but there was a hurricane
It
on the
was
way
raining
here.
outside.
Yeah,
In fact, it looks like it might still be.
Yeah. So it's called The Art of John Alvin.
Mike
and-
Phillips, is it raining out there? Okay.
It wasn't a little. This was bad. Anyway, so John Alvin did the movie poster for E.T.
A lot of great
and
movie
Blade
posters.
Runner and Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, Little
Yeah.
Mermaid and Blazing Saddles and Young
great movies.
Frankenstein and
Blazing Saddles, yeah, I agree.
Color Purple and over 250 movies he did finished movie posters for.
Probably
And
a lot of the movies that you liked in your childhood, he probably had a hand in doing art
Goonies.
for.
He did Goonies.
Yep.
He did.
You also got me on Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and all
Well,
that
those are
stuff.
beautiful
90s.
posters, yeah. And he was really important to the history of film and was a traditional illustrator, which actually in my gallery I try to focus on because I believe the movie posters aren't very interesting anymore, and
No,
they kind
they're
of
terrible.
fall into 3 or 4
kind of
categories.
very
I'm always
generic,
bitching
yeah.
also when you post missed a new one, I'm like, oh my god, again, Jesus.
Some of them are nice, but it's very rare that
Very
you come
rare.
across something.
Well, I mean,
really
a
cool
lot of them
looking.
are, they're photoshopped. They look really crappy. You know, they look like most of the time they just recycle the images from the movie,
Right.
and slap them on a one sheet, and that's what they do. And I hate that too. I always appreciate it when somebody actually goes out and does original,
traditionally illustrated art.
Yeah, those are great.
It doesn't happen that much in
Not
the
so
world
much
of film anymore. Although sometimes if they're looking for something different and really want to have people pay attention, like if you go on Rotten Tomatoes on your phone and it's like digital, picture. Oh, traditional illustration.
Yeah.
Like Only Lovers Left Alive and the Advance for Wolverine. There are some that are.
There
done
was
by
one
hand.
last year for, oh my god, I can't remember the name of the movie, but the To-Do List. That had an illustration on it. The poster was really cool. Actually.
Oh,
yeah.
cool, great.
It wasn't,
Yeah.
that's
I like the fact that
usual.
that Marvel is bringing in a lot of their artists to do movie posters and stuff. Like Guardians of the Galaxy had some great ones. I mean, so they're doing Captain America did also. So they're doing stuff like that. And
I love
that's
the Captain
one good
America
thing.
one. That was really nice.
The
They're
issue,
definitely good
though, is that back when John Alvin was doing posters, and even then, they weren't really giving him credit. And Drew Struzan did require credit, and John and Drew are two people who actually got to have their artwork sent back to them, and so we are the custodians of his estate. So we have all of his original artwork that's available for sale. So we have a bunch of stuff from the book. You guys have to come and see because I have a new show that we actually have. He wore red shoes every day, and we have his red shoes. His wife let me
he was
have
like
them.
his own little Dorothy.
Totally.
That's awesome.
No, he was like his own Imelda Marcos, more like, because he had lots and lots and lots of red shoes, and they're really beautiful. So, but it's nice because Andrea, who wrote the book, his wife / partner in Alvin and Associates, she sent me 2 pairs of his shoes.
Oh, that's nice.
For the exhibit. Anyway, so I am incredibly proud for them because a bunch of really big, the Hollywood, what's the Hollywood Reporter and the Nerdist and Hypable and Roger Ebert. They have a bunch of people read on there, and it's been completely uniformly really, really well reviewed.
So the Art of John Alvin, the book is out now.
Yeah.
You can get it at Amazon. You can get it from your site as well, right?
No, I sent it to you.
Well, yeah. You
Because-
can find it on Punch Drunk Critics.
Can you
as well.
also
Yeah.
get it at regular bookstores?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank goodness.
So the
I'm
Art
glad
of
to
John
say.
Alvin book is out there.
So that's what I
suggest
do, but
everybody
I also write movie reviews because I love movies. But I'm more I was just curious because you say you're a big movie fan. Are you more new movies or old movies? Like if you have a couple that are your like super favorite movies.
I mean, I like a mix of them really, so long as they're good. Obviously I grew up in the 90s, so I have my heart belongs to the shush, Travis, shush.
Tiny.
There was a bunch of good stuff that I thought. I mean, sometimes they're not necessarily good, but they hold good memories for you because that's
Right.
what you used to see
Of
them a bunch
course.
of
I
times.
mean,
They're not
it's like-
necessarily. I wouldn't give them a 5, but
movies are like music.
Yeah,
the stuff you
pretty
grew
much.
up with and the stuff you're gonna love forever. So,
Yeah.
so like me, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So music and movies of those eras are great for me. So it's just kind of the way it is. Right around that teenage sweet spot is where it is for most people.
Like all the late 80s, 90s stuff is just great to rewatch
Right.
over and over again.
Right. So while we're talking about movies, let's talk about a movie that came out this week. And then, Leslie, you didn't have a chance to see this one, but it doesn't really matter because the movie didn't do anything anyway. The movie didn't do shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. So the November Man.
Did it make the top 5?
We'll talk about that in a second. The movie is The
that's a
November
big
Man
deal.
with Pierce Brosnan. This came out on Wednesday. So, Mike Phillips, let's go ahead and run a clip from The November Man, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
No, I don't get you, Devereaux. I'm the one you want. Why not take your shot?
Tempting. Give away my position, though. Always willing to die for the cause, eh, Mason?
Fear's the enemy. You taught me that.
Yeah. Well, I haven't finished teaching you yet, son.
Yet here I am about to take you down all the same.
You're not gonna take me down, kid. You're a blunt instrument at best. No perspective, no knowledge.
Keep talking, old man.
This is humiliating. Embarrassing. Just like in Moscow. Huh? Isn't it? What is it, Mason? No one there to hold your hand? No one there to tell you to pull the trigger?
He's still in the car. Where's the nearest parking lot?
Let's try to head this way.
So no regrets?
Not one.
He's here. He's around here somewhere.
Gas, get back!
Oh man, I always like when I play these clips, Mike, because I can judge how you feel about a movie just by looking at you, and you seem like you're excited for the November Man. Am I right? Yeah. Sure. All right. Okay. Well, you probably shouldn't be.
We're about to dash your hopes.
The thing about that clip that amazes me is that it's only like a minute long. Am I right, Mike? It's only like a minute long.
Yeah, that clip was only a minute.
It feels like 2 minutes.
It feels long.
It felt really long. And I always pick my clips to be about a minute long. That felt really long. And that's the way that movie felt to me.
God.
It felt so long. It's not even that long.
Pierce Brosnan.
It was like an hour 40. An hour 40 minutes,
Yeah,
but it
it's
felt
not
like it was
that
2
long.
hours and something.
It feels really long. Now, Pierce Brosnan, everybody knows he was Bond. He's my favorite Bond. I know people like Roger Moore or Sean Connery or even Daniel Craig right now. Nobody says they like Timothy Dalton, I don't think. But
yeah, I think he's probably the least liked.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But yeah.
George Lazenby.
Yeah, but he was. I always
a
ignore
red
him
hot
because
second.
he was there for such a short
Yeah.
amount of time. But I love Brosnan, and this goes back to the thing where I said, the stuff you grew up with. Like Brosnan was around perfect for me, perfect
Yeah.
time. I mean, I played GoldenEye on my Nintendo, with Pierce Brosnan. So it's right around the right time frame for me, and I really want to see him come back and start doing action movies again, because as much as I like Liam Neeson, I like Pierce Brosnan as the old action guy better. I just think he's better suited to it. So I was really looking forward to November Man. And Mae, you saw it. You were there with me when this was playing, right? And this was like
Yep.
the thing that it made me think about is why I like Bond movies, right? Bond movies are really simple. Like, no matter what, they're really simple. Bad guy has some stupid evil plan. Bond shows up, sleeps with a girl, has a
The
drink.
usual.
She dies.
Yeah, she usually dies and he wins.
Or turns out to be the bad one.
Right, or she's scheming.
Well,
She's scheming on. She's scheming on him.
Right.
She's scheming on him, and she dies. So that it's really simple. The formula works. The November Man should have been simple, but it's not.
It
It's
was up to
really,
a certain point.
right? Like the first 10 minutes, and then it gets really convoluted, and it's like you get a whole bunch of characters talking at one another about Chechnya and shit that I don't care about. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I want to rip what little hair I have out of my head. Did you feel the same? I kind of get the feeling you feel the same way.
No, definitely. I didn't really give it that high of a score to begin with. I just thought that there was just too much going on. They tried to make it too complicated.
Ugh.
And all that political thriller stuff. It was like a cross between they were trying to do Bond / Jack Ryan /
Oh my God! Nobody should try to do Jack Ryan.
Yeah, and it was just all over the place. And the great thing about Pierce Brosnan is that he has this, great swagger about him. He's very sexy. The way he talks.
That's a great word for it, too. Swagger. I agree.
So
with
I
that.
feel like
Well, he's Irish. They all have swagger.
right. That's true.
he had swagger in Mamma Mia when he was like.
It's true. He
breaking
did.
glasses.
He really did. And when he was just,
awful.
singing around.
Oh, yeah, it was painful.
Yeah, it was
It was
really. It really
really
was.
bad.
It really was.
But you couldn't tell him that. I mean, he
But
was
it's
trying.
still Pierce
he was really
Brosnan.
good at it. Right, it's still Pierce Brosnan. So you're like, okay.
But like, this movie didn't help him at all. You really wanted to like his role in it. But then everything that every character did, you just wanted to shoot them in the face because it was so stupid.
I couldn't even like
So
Olga
stupid.
Kurylenko in this. And another Bond veteran, by the way. She was in Quantum of Solace, one of the worst Bond movies ever, I might add. She was in that. And, I couldn't even like her in this. And she basically played, I don't even know how to describe who the hell she plays in
Plus,
this.
I thought the movie was a little sexist, specifically since they cover sex trafficking, and then you have this girl who was sexually assaulted and all this other stuff, and then you have her all of a sudden turn into the vixen and try to play CIA agent. I don't even know where that came from. I mean, I know they
Yeah.
just wanted to put her in a short skirt for the guys, but
Yes, and I appreciate their efforts in that, but
Yeah.
but it's just it didn't really make a whole lot of sense either, though. I mean, I know she was trying to go undercover or something like that, and this is Olga Kurylenko, by the way. She's the one that they put up, and they dolled her up for this one scene, and I figured they kind of had to because she was wearing like pantsuits the entire movie, and you're like, yeah, that's what I paid to see
yeah,
Olga
but you don't
Kurylenko
see
for.
how she went from that to all of a sudden, hey, I'm taking this into my own hands after 3 years of hiding. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
so.
not a lot about this movie made a whole lot of
No,
sense.
that's true.
To be honest, the whole thing was pretty crappy, and you didn't miss a darn thing.
I'm so grateful.
You got lucky.
I'm sitting in the
Yeah,
moment
pretty
of
much.
gratitude.
Yeah,
Yay!
but we all
Okay.
love Pierce Brosnan, though. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's like,
we do. So,
yeah, and they
you know.
greenlit a sequel to this already, by the way. So
I mean, he's worthy.
yes, they
yeah.
greenlit a sequel. And by the way, it did not do well at the box office this week. It came out on Wednesday, and Labor Day is always like the worst week at
'Cause
the
everyone-
movies.
yeah.
It's awful, right?
Everyone's on
goes to see
vacation
anything.
and
It opened at number 6, I believe.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, number 6 with like $9 million, and that's coming out on Wednesday. So it had more time.
I think
than
they
everything else that
expected it to
came
do
out.
better because of Pierce Brosnan, but I think he's worthy of a better script, a better movie in general.
You know what I think is probably going to end up happening in this movie? I think because it's Pierce Brosnan, it'll probably play better outside of here. You know? You
Yeah.
think, yes,
Where else
yes,
does it take place?
It's kind
It
of a.
just,
Does it
takes,
like
it just takes place in
Transformers?
Russia and
Yeah, it's-
Belgrade.
There should be like the
Yeah.
Transformers,
Yeah.
Recipe.
they should
Because
just
that's
have
just
everything
like
everywhere else.
crappy movie. Play it to that country.
Put it in
That's how we
China.
do.
Put it in China, and
Yeah.
then have China, all the Chinese go out and see it. Yeah, I feel like it'll probably do well.
The entire country went.
Everybody else will go see it. Oh, do we have like police around here? No? Okay. Sometimes that happens. But this movie was a total disaster, so whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
So don't go see it unless you really want to waste your money on something.
Yeah, there are other movies you can go waste your
And
money on.
great movies with Pierce Brosnan in them. Not just
Pretty
the Bond
much.
movies. He's been in a bunch of good stuff.
He's
so.
got another one coming out pretty soon,
AFI
too.
movie theaters. He's always in there.
Where, AFI?
AFI and East Street. He's always in those movie theaters.
Yeah. What is your favorite Brosnan movie? Why do you like Brosnan so much, Mike?
The Bond movies.
You're looking for Bond too?
Because
Okay.
I just like you on my
You
my
play GoldenEye
N64.
also. You play GoldenEye also.
Oh my god, hours of it with my friends. It was literally the worst game to ever introduce to a teenager's life.
Jimmy Fallon was playing GoldenEye the other day against somebody on TV. I can't think who it was.
I believe it was Pierce Brosnan.
I actually don't think it was. I think
Pretty sure it
somebody else.
was. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know
Because
he
I
was
think
playing. He was
really?
playing it.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh my god,
Maybe
that's
it
funny.
was. But but GoldenEye, you could be right. GoldenEye is awesome. The November Man is not. All right, so let's talk about another movie. And I'm gonna give you a chance to talk about a movie that I did not get a chance to see, and I don't think you get a chance to see it either. And that is a horror movie, As Above, So Below. This is directed by John Eric Dowdle, who nobody cares about, but he did direct.
So mean, Travis. So mean.
Well, it's true. Now, there's a certain segment of people that actually look forward to John Eric Dowdle movies. The guy directed Devil, which was produced by M. Night Shyamalan, and he also directed Quarantine, which I actually kind of like.
Oh, I like that.
I kind of like it. The sequel is trash, but the Quarantine is okay. So As Above, So Below, I don't know jack about really, but we're going to show a clip of that and give Leslie a chance to talk about it. So let's run that, Mike.
How the hell did they get a piano down there?
Maybe it fell when one of the houses collapsed.
You gotta be kidding.
When I was a kid, we had a piano that looked exactly like this.
Really?
Danny and I used to play it all the time. We only knew one song. Where Bonnie lies over the ocean. You remember that song? We could never finish it because the A4 key was messed up.
George.
This is a trip. What's going on?
All right, that was a clip from As Above, So Below.
Yes, it was.
All right, so Leslie, tell me why I should go see As Above, So Below. Why should I go see it? I said
why shouldn't he go
I
see
put
it?
it to her that way because Leslie is extremely positive as much as she can be, even about stuff she doesn't like.
Yes.
So I'm putting it to her in the most positive way I possibly can. Leslie, tell me why I should go see As Above, So Below.
A few reasons.
All right.
If you're from DC, one of the leads is from here.
Oh.
Okay, that's one reason.
So Ben Feldman is from DC. So support your local actor trying to make good.
Okay, that won't get me in. So let's
That
try
won't
another
get
one.
you, all right?
Not even to support a fellow Washingtonian.
No, I don't care that much.
Did you like Flatliners? Okay, so imagine Flatliners without
I
the
actually like
famous
Flatliners,
people.
which they're remaking,
Without
by
what?
the way.
Without the famous people.
Okay.
Okay, so you got
That sounds,
Flatliners. Well,
it's only good for the famous people.
Yeah, but they weren't famous then.
They
This
kind of
was-
were.
They were semi-famous.
Yeah, they kinda
okay,
were.
so
Okay.
it's
So I like
kind
Flatliners.
of like Flatliners meets Blair Witch Project because unless you want to just harken back to all of the found footage documentary style, which see, I was not. She was asking me about this. I was not really a big fan of Blair Witch Project. I thought it was boring and not that interesting.
Yeah,
and not
A lot of
really
people
scary.
did. I actually really like it. But
I understand
why people wouldn't.
I do understand why people would like it.
The shaky camera makes me nauseous. Too much of it.
Yes.
This
going
isn't
on.
too
Yes.
shaky. I would say if you like Flatliners and here's what it is about the movie that I actually kind of liked.
Okay.
And that is that it aspired to be more philosophical and more symbolic than the normal horror movie.
Okay, so it's not just run and hide, run and be
It
scared.
really
and-
isn't.
Blood everywhere.
There is a lot about. I mean, maybe I do.
It's
kind
going
of
back
look
into
things.
history, and it's actually it's about something specific. And I can't remember what it was. It's a search. It's a
Oh
search.
well, that's
catacombs.
the silly part.
It's
That's
the search for
Oh,
something.
that's the silly part.
That's
Isn't it
that's
are they
the
searching
silly
for the
part.
sorcerer's stone or something like that?
It's for the philosopher's stone. As she would
It's
say.
Harry Potter turned horror.
It is Harry Potter because it involves Nicholas Flamel.
Oh.
So, and then an English accent. Although it's funny because so it takes place in the catacombs in Paris, and I wanted to go, which was kind of funny because I wound up being just about the only critic there.
I was going to say, I was surprised
There
you were
ain't
there.
nobody there. No, there was nobody
Yeah,
there.
I
But
figured a lot of people there.
Number one,
You know why? Because it came out like that night.
The night before. Yeah.
So it was like,
That's true.
it is not. Yeah.
Yeah.
My assistant
wasn't even
loves
Dustin
horror
and Patrick
movies.
weren't there?
No.
wow.
I know.
When
They're big horror people.
When they don't show up to a horror movie, that
That
usually
is
should
scary,
should tell you
Yeah.
something.
So I think first off, it was filmed, or at least the idea is that it was filmed in the catacombs of Paris. I've been to the catacombs
Oh, really?
of Paris. Oh yes, of course. It's fairly close to my family.
Your family live close to
long
the
way back.
catacombs?
My
They
whole
live in
family
the catacombs.
is no. They're the cimetière in Montparnasse.
What?
Okay, so there's a cemetery
It,
that
it sounded hot, whatever it was. I don't know what it was.
It's a
It probably had
cemetery.
it probably had something to do, yeah, I was about to say it probably had something to do with death, and now it sounded hot. But
Yeah,
it was
so
about
my family has a tomb with a bunch of family members in it in the cemetery really near where all the catacombs are.
Okay.
Well, the catacombs are all through. It's actually really cool if you ever go to Paris and you're into that
Because
creepy
it's all
shit.
under the entire city, isn't it?
Yeah, it's millions and millions of dead.
Wow.
There's
That's
lots
impressive,
of
though, if you really think
skeletons
about it.
And lots of it's quite intense
little
and
creepy.
energetically speaking, it's pretty
Okay.
amazing to experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark. It's crazy that the premise for them to just forget about the premise. The premise is ridiculous.
I want to hear about this philosopher's stone
Okay,
thing.
so her dad.
Just watch Harry Potter 1.
I'll tell you, her dad was sort of like a national treasure. Her dad was after the stone,
Okay.
and she's the daughter, and he killed himself, and so she's sort of trying to redeem him, which is all nonsense. And then she's got this long-term friendship with this guy who can read Aramaic, who's the guy from
romantic
DC.
tension,
And they end up
romantic
getting
tension in the
together.
catacombs.
Yes, indeed.
Of all places.
And then, right. And then there are various. There's a guy who can get them through it, who's French, and a couple of other people who are clearly going to be dead by the end.
This sounds like The Descent meets Sanctum, which is like the worst combination I can think of. Did you ever see that movie Sanctum? That James Cameron produced. It was.
no.
It's awful.
I like
it's-
The Descent though.
I like the Descent too, but
There are no
anything
creatures.
mixed with Sanctum is awful.
This is much more about
okay.
hell than it is
Okay.
about. It's about personal hells, and there's a lot of symbolism in it.
That's sad because that sounds really interesting.
Yeah,
but
well, it's
yeah.
it's the thing is it doesn't succeed, but it's interesting enough that if people are constantly, this is the thing about horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
You either give the low budget ones a pass and try to enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's
Try
the reason to
to
go.
enjoy
Is
them.
like there's not a lot out right now. Everyone's already seen.
There hasn't been a lot out this year in general.
This has been a
because
really
I think,
bad movie year for horror.
there's one
Yeah.
coming out called Annabelle, and I think it's
That's-
something about
that's
the
the
doll from The
prequel.
Conjuring.
That's the
Yeah.
prequel to The Conjuring.
Yes, which someone I know is very excited about it.
I assume
For reasons
they're
unknown.
excited for the sequel then too, because there's a prequel and a sequel.
Oh,
coming
is
out.
there?
Yeah,
Oh.
sequel to The Conjuring is coming out.
Well,
Annabelle will
The
come
Conjuring
out first.
is good.
It
The
is,
Conjuring
it's
was,
really
I think,
good.
was the last good horror movie of the last couple years.
It's really good.
Well, there are some famous people that are going to be in horror movies in the next 6 months, I think.
Well, there's that Daniel Radcliffe one, which I assume is a horror movie because
Horns?
it's
Oh, no,
horns.
it's
not.
really.
It's more of a mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a film noir. I would say.
I don't know. I
And
just
it
saw
has
horns and I assumed it was
supernatural
assumed.
noir. I would call
Yeah,
it.
it's
Okay.
really going to
Yeah.
be cool. I look forward to that, actually.
Yeah, you know.
It's I kind of started reading the book. I'm not. I can't.
Oh, okay, it's
I
based
can't.
on a book.
I can't fully commit to any book until I finish Allegiant.
I started
So-
reading. You're still reading it.
I can't finish it. It's so
Just
boring.
toss it. Allegiant,
what?
the
Allegiant,
third of the
the last
Divergent series.
Oh,
It's
no.
It's
awful.
terrible.
Okay.
It's
It's really
terrible.
bad. And I keep.
Oh,
I've
and
been
it does
reading
not
it the
end
last few
well.
days,
Oh,
trying
no.
to. I'm trying to just knock it out.
Yeah.
So the last few days I've been reading it. I'm just like.
Because what happens, Leslie, is that the first two books are in
Triss's.
Triss's point of view.
Oh, I know.
And the last one, it's
Yeah,
her
I wound
and
up
Forrest's
reading
point
them.
of view,
Yeah.
and then you don't know which point of view you're really reading because you have to look about whose voice it is. He kind of loses his
I
voice.
don't understand
but that's
why.
a different
I
story.
don't understand why.
I'm reading
they do
I'm reading the Maze Runner right now.
that. Hey, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
We
yeah.
bored.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay,
Anyway.
so-
I take it you're not interested in Divergent.
Not at all.
Did you see it, Mike?
No.
Then shut up then.
Yeah, don't.
I seen the previews for it. I was like, no, I'm good.
I actually heard that they're thinking of doing because they did those books, the 4 stories about 4. They did
Oh, yeah,
they did another book
They
that's
did
just
the
on
one.
that's just on 4.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
recently.
think
And
I want to read any
that
more of her
I've
books.
I've heard rumors that they're considering doing those too.
Interesting.
Which would be
I know. I
terrible.
think they might do for that. What is it? The City of Bones. But there's
Yes.
There's an entirely other book series that's about that kind of world, except before the new
Yeah,
the characters
it's
that you
City
know
of
of
something
now.
else.
Yeah.
That rumor came out a while back too that they were going to do those. But
Interesting.
the first one did so badly. I can't imagine that they would go ahead with
yeah.
that.
Plus, I like Shailene Woodley too much to see her in crappy films. It's just
Divergent's not crappy. It's just
She's
It's
the
not
new generation of
She is.
Angelina Jolie.
Apparently.
Like the trippy
A
crazy
show
girl.
about movies talking about books.
we're talking about
But
books.
they're books
we're talking
to
about
movies.
Books,
Yeah,
books that
but-
are made into movies, Mike.
Okay, well these books don't really sound very attractive. You already said that you felt you're falling asleep to your own book that you're reading. You're having an issue.
I said I
reading.
don't like it.
He's
I
been
didn't say I
reading
was
it
falling
the whole
asleep.
summer. He
The
can't
whole
finish it.
summer.
Mike.
Wow.
Mike. I like it when you chime in most of the time. This week I don't like it when you chime in. So, as much as I appreciate
He's got
your,
two pretty girls.
we're talking about
Had to take
we're talking
advantage.
about movie adaptations here. That's what we're talking about more so than the books. So I'm sorry if you don't like that, Phillips. It's okay. But anyway, let's go
So
back to
with
what
the
we were
as above,
talking
so
about.
below, I'm going to say I was so looking forward to really hating it, so that if I wrote a review, I could say
you
as
do a
above,
review?
They're more
so
fun to write.
blows. But I didn't. No, I didn't because I was doing the John Alvin art thing. So
Yeah.
and as you know, if I don't have something nice to say, at least something,
Right.
or I totally hate it and feel like I need to warn people away,
Mm-hmm.
Transformers, then I will keep relatively silent. Plus, I knew that I was going to be coming here, so we'd be talking about it since I was the only critic in the entire
Universe who saw it.
I was funny that I think her name is Perdita Weeks, the girl who's the lead girl,
Yep,
and
that's her.
she's English and she has a posh English accent in it, but she has a perfectly flawless French accent
Oh,
when
really?
she speaks in French. So I'm like, you're either French or you've been in a French movie. So I looked it up, and sure enough, last year she was in a French movie.
Which
like,
movie?
okay, I don't know.
I know her.
But she's
you
not
asking
French.
that because you want me to say the name of it in French.
I'm like Gomez and Morticia. As long as she says something in French, it sounds sexy.
Oh, it's okay. So it's Les Vols des Cigognes.
I don't know
What does
that
that
is.
mean?
I don't know what the hell that is.
Flight of something. I don't know what.
It's got Rutger Hauer in it.
Well, there you go. That's all you need to.
That's a good
That's all
thing.
you need to know.
And Harry Treadway, who I know him from something. I know that name, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So As Above, So Below. Would you recommend it then?
If you like, and really like have brought to your bosom the Flatliners movie, and you also like
Which
Blair
aspect
Witch.
of it is Flatliners-esque? That's
Oh,
what
well, if
I'm-
I'd say that, I'm going to be giving some stuff away.
Oh, okay.
So
All
just
right, yeah,
suffice
I don't
to
want anything
say,
spoiled.
When you walk, as I never spoiled, ever will, haven't done,
Right.
won't do it now. As you get through toward the end of the movie, you're like, Flatliners. And so which suggests a depth that you might not expect in
Right.
something where
'Cause I
people
do
are
like
dropping off and
Flatliners.
bleeding and whatnot. Okay, so it has symbolism and depth to it that is a little bit of a surprise. And as there's no one really famous in it.
Is it Jacob's Ladder-esque?
No.
Okay.
Everyone thought that's what it was.
That's
no.
what it kind of looks that way.
Now, well, you say that, but shouldn't you really say Currents at Owl Creek Bridge? Because that was the pre-Jacob's
I
Ladder,
guess.
Jacob's Ladder.
I think it's Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Okay.
So-
Have you ever seen Jacob's Ladder?
I have not.
You should see that.
Okay.
You should see. Have you seen Flatliners?
I have.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Good movie.
Yeah.
It is a good movie. They're remaking it, by the way.
You've said that already. Please, leave
They're
it
remaking
alone, man.
everything. Why can't they just leave things alone?
By the way,
'Cause it's
I want to
never gonna
sidebar
happen.
something. I need to sidebar something. You know how
Wishful
you guys
thinking.
said that your favorite movies are from when you grew up?
Mhm. No.
No.
Not for you?
No, because maybe it's a
Pre or
all right,
post?
let me just say this about that, because you know the joke about the French people and Jerry Lewis. It's true. We do things ingenious, but beyond that,
I'll
because
never understand.
That's before me. Oh, come on, really? Don't get me started about that.
Where was it 22 Jump Street that had the Jerry Lewis joke in it? There was a really undercover Jerry Lewis joke in it. I think it.
I don't remember.
It may have been 22 Jump Street.
Okay,
But go ahead.
you like the movies pre your childhood or post childhood?
Way pre.
Okay.
No, my favorite movie is the Night of the Hunter. So I
Great
like black
movie.
and white. I like they're all movies that are at least 20 or 30 years before I was born.
So. Oh, so many black and white movies I love. I love 12 Angry Men. I think
God,
it's a
that's
favorite.
great.
It's a good one.
So many
it's
good
a really,
ones
really
on
good
that.
one.
Well,
yeah.
you like Fail Safe too then, because it's a very similar movie.
Yeah.
With some of
I
the
like
similar
every
films.
version of 12 Angry Men.
I know,
That's
really.
when I know that I like
even
every.
like TV show movies from the
It
70s.
does it has a great point and it makes it so well.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't really hate
And they're
on
all
it
in the
at
same.
all.
They were all at one
I
place.
bet
Exactly.
Mike
We're not
Phillips
leaving
has
this
never seen
room.
12 Angry Men. See, yeah, he's too busy. He's too busy being upset because you said Transformers wasn't any good.
No, I'm not upset about that because I've seen it. It's trash.
I kept telling people
I
not
had
to go.
too much hope for that movie, but yeah, 12 Angry Men. I will be checking that out.
Are they doing any more Transformers movie? Because that would make me really sad.
Yes, they are.
$1 billion. Of course, they're making more Transformers.
Michael Bay.
This was that. No, well, he's not doing anymore. But there's
All right.
this was the beginning of a new trilogy. So yes, there will be at least 2 more.
The good news, though, is Guardians of the Galaxy just
Number one movie in
beat
America.
everything.
Number one movie in of the year is Guardians of the
Because
Galaxy.
it's
At
had
least
the number one spot for the longest, running.
It was number 1 for 2 weeks. It may have been only a week, but it lost to Transformers. And then for the last 2 weeks, it's been back at number 1.
Because
Because
everything
there's
else
nothing
has
else.
sucked.
I know. There's nothing
Yeah,
else.
that's part of the
And
reason. It was
I
number
think
1 this week, too.
Word of mouth has been really,
yeah.
more so than any
Why
other
people keep asking? They're
Marvel.
like, "Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy?" I was like, "Yeah." Even my sister, who doesn't even like superhero movies, liked this movie.
I
a
think
lot.
it's a superhero
Everybody
movie.
I think it's the
for-
humor,
but it's also a
as well.
superhero movie for people
Who don't like
care.
superhero movies.
And
So-
because I think people also see the Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Raccoon.
because they don't recognize them, they think I don't have to worry about other stuff.
Right, and there's
when
no
when you go
expectation
see-
for it as
right, when
much,
you go see
right.
Iron Man, you like, I don't know anything about Iron Man, but nobody knows jack about the Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Right.
you don't worry about it. You know, so I think, and it's funny when you think about the fact that just a few months ago, Marvel was worried about Guardians of the Galaxy maybe being their first flop,
And now they're
instead
raking in the
it's their
cash.
biggest movie of the year. And the fact that they have the number 1 and number 2 movies domestically just goes to show their dominance. So
Right.
You know, Warner Brothers.
But
the
I
other
do
one, Captain
remember
America,
quite
too?
well when you were worried about it and was really rooting for it. So I'm glad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always liked the Guardians of the Galaxy as a
I
team, even the
know.
old one before they got brought back in the maybe mid 2000s when they came back.
So
I've always liked them. So
in response to the ice bucket challenge thing, no, this is a good thing.
I hate those
The
things.
director of Guardians of the Galaxy started something where it was planting a tree, and that was the challenge that he's doing to have people.
Aw,
So
that's
it's like
sweet.
We
Nice.
Are Groot challenge,
Yeah.
which I just think is so sweet.
I love the
and,
little
like,
dancing Groot.
very
little-
They're making a
positive.
toy.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
They're
So
making a toy of it
cute.
now.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a bobblehead.
We sold a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, everybody wants that dancing Groot toy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
how could you not?
I know, right?
sweet.
It's like
Although
the
this
cutest
one
thing
is just
ever.
a bobblehead kind of toy, they're going to make another one that's more complicated and more expensive and
of course.
smaller edition size.
Yeah, they'll make one.
And
that-
just in time for
Funko.
Christmas, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
12
yeah,
versions of it. But
everybody's
anyway.
happy about Guardians of the Galaxy doing well, and so am I. And the box office this week was interesting because it was Labor Day. So movies, everything came out they all sucked. Everything sucked
much.
this week. So,
Which is so funny because you would think that the very beginning of the year, because I remember going back when we were watching Hercules right at the beginning of the year.
Which
and it was
Hercules?
just
Oh, the
first
oh.
horrible, painful,
The Kellen Klutz
excruciating,
version.
the worst
the
movie
Legend- the
ever,
Legend
and
of
they
Hercules.
just
That
so
still
awful,
stands as
awful,
one of the.
awful.
Oh my
It's-
god.
I know that's right.
Oh my
So
God.
it's possible.
We're
the
talking
first
about the one with
movie-
the dogs, right?
we're not talking. We're
No, not the Dwayne Johnson one.
Oh,
The
okay.
one before it.
the one
Yeah.
before, the one that
Yeah.
came out in January.
The one that's
yeah,
the
that
one with
sucks
the
too.
extremely
Now the
spray tan.
Dwayne Johnson one's terrible too.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. It
Okay,
sucks
yeah,
too.
But
yeah.
the first
They
one
should
makes
just
the
stop doing
second
Hercules
one.
movies for a while.
The first one makes the second one
look
look
better.
good,
Yeah.
which
But
is
still, it
horrifying.
doesn't have a
Yeah,
high
if you-
bar.
If you
so
right,
if you
if
really
you
think
can,
about
if you're gonna watch them both side by side, and yeah, Dwayne Johnson's looks a lot better.
Have
it's
a Hercules
better movie,
marathon.
but they're both really bad. They should just stop doing Hercules. I
The
think.
longer I go being a film critic, the more I find out exactly which weeks have the low ebb, because this is, I mean, I've known that this is a
all
low
film
ebb,
critics are,
but-
all on vacation the last few weeks.
Well,
because
they're at Telluride,
this
and
is-
they're about to be in,
this is
in
gearing up.
Toronto.
Yeah.
So there's a
gearing
lot
up
of news
for-
coming out
Right.
from there.
This is gearing up for the fall. I
Right.
mean, this is the end of the summer
It's the
season's
pre.
always the worst. Expendables 3 was the last big.
I think the end of the
blockbuster
summer
for
and the
for
beginning of
and
the
that
year
sucked. I mean, it
sucks,
didn't do
too.
anything. So this is the gearing up for the fall season now, and Leslie's right. Telluride is going on right now. Toronto is right around the corner. We got some other festivals coming up too. The Oscar festivals, I like to call them, because this is when you're going to start seeing a lot of the Oscar movies starting to come out. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting actually to see what happens. Telluride, the stuff that's coming out about Rosewater has been really good. Jon
Yes.
Stewart's
Oh,
Stewart
good.
directorial
Yes.
debut.
Good.
I'm hearing
99
really good
Homes.
things about that.
They didn't release the trailer for that, but I saw the first picture for it.
Oh, 99 Homes?
Yeah.
They put out a clip. There are 2 clips that I put up on the site.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
It's Ramin Barani, who is like one of my favorite directors. He did Man Push Cart, Goodbye Solo, At Any Price. Movies that are fantastic movies about the American dream and the middle class and all stuff like
I
that.
can't
Really
remember-
smart movies, which means nobody pays to see them at all. Nobody goes to see his movies ever.
They're smart.
Nobody goes to see him. He put Zac Efron in his movie, and nobody went to see it. So it's like,
Yikes.
I know. So nobody will see 99 Homes either. And it's got Andrew Garfield and Michael Shannon. Nobody will see it.
What?
Such a shame,
No.
though.
Because
Oh,
they're
my
smart
God.
movies. They'll never be in a multiplex, like ever. They'll never be in a multiplex. At Any Price is probably Zac Efron's best acting performance, right? And nobody will see it. So, but
Yeah, we'll
'cause
see him in
it's about
Neighbors
farm-
and all those other
Right.
crappy movies.
It's about farming, so like nobody's gonna go see that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go watch that movie about farms. No,
Yeah, but,
nobody's gonna
you
pay
know,
to see that. So that's
unfortunate.
Sad. It is sad. All right, so we got about 10 minutes, Mike. About 10, 12 minutes.
15-ish.
So I was going to mention the Imitation Game because that also has been getting a lot of attention, and
Yeah.
universally people have been saying. I mean, it's going to be an interesting. They're already starting to talk about Oscars for that movie, and for.
I'm hearing.
I mean,
not-
I'm
not
a
as
big
much.
Enigma
Is that hitting
fan.
Toronto?
It'll
No,
be
it's at Telluride.
It should be in Toronto too, I think.
Yeah.
It'll probably be there too.
But for me, I love World War II. I like Enigma stories, things about cracking the code. So
this is the movie
interested to
about
see
Alan
it.
Turing, the guy who helped break the Enigma code during World War II. There's a movie about the Enigma code a while back called Enigma.
Which I loved,
With
actually.
Kate Winslet was in
God,
it.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's one of the
But
first.
you know, this one has Benedict Cumberbatch. So.
It's Benedict
As
Cumberbatch.
do they all.
Okay,
As does
okay.
everything.
All right, now let's talk about this because
Penguins.
I actually wrote about this a lot over the last few months when it comes to the Imitation Game, especially now that it's out, and I'm hearing good things about his performance.
So about the movie.
So about the movie itself. Last year at this exact same time, we were getting a lot of the same conversation about the Fifth Estate.
Oh, really?
Which was man, this movie. How can this movie's a can't miss? It's about WikiLeaks.
But
it's him as
Yawn.
it's
Oh, I
him
hated
as
that
it's
movie.
him as Julian Assange.
And it's
How can
sad.
it's
He was
it's,
good.
and
Because it
it's
was
so boring.
Cumberbatch and Daniel Bruhl, which I think is,
Yeah.
Those are great
Daniel
actors.
Bruhl
So
had nothing to do
underrated.
with
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah, and so we're hearing a lot of that same conversation that we hear now. And that movie was not only was it bad, but nobody went to see it. I think that movie made $8 million worldwide.
What was its budget? Because I'm
Nobody
sure it had a
saw it.
much larger budget.
Sorry.
Budget was small, so it probably didn't. Well, it was bigger than
Kind
$8
of
million.
maybe broke even. Yeah.
It was bigger than $8 million, but still, it wasn't that big. But the fact is, the movie had a great pedigree. It had Bill Condon directing it. You know, it had everything that should have made it a hit, and it didn't.
I think
and I
because
kind of get that same feel about The Imitation Game. I kind of do.
Well, is the Imitation Game based on anything? Because I know that The Fifth Estate was based on the book
It's
by...
based on a book. The Imitation Game is based on a book also. I can't tell you the name. It may have been called The Imitation Game, actually.
There's world of a difference between a story about cracking the code during World War II that effectively turned the tide of the entire war and people typing on computers.
True.
Yeah, that's
true. No,
Plus, he's also considered the father of computers, so
Yeah.
he's really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah.
you're absolutely right that there's a big difference between those two movies. You know, I think they both have a similar sort of espionage feel, but one of the big problems with the Fifth Estate was that I don't think it knew what it wanted to be. Like, part of it was trying to be a thriller, the other part was trying to be sort of a biopic, and neither one of those things really worked out.
Yeah.
You know, whereas at least The Imitation Game is, you know, we know where it lies. You know, it's.
Right. I mean, for like the Julian Assange story, just watch WikiLeaks. You know, it's
watch the documentary.
Which is so great.
Watch
The
the
documentary is so
Watch the
great.
documentary. The documentary on WikiLeaks is amazing.
And then the other thing that's coming that a lot of people are talking about again is Foxcatcher, which I keep waiting to see because
Should
I'm
have been out
so
last year.
excited to see
really?
that movie. And I'm gonna.
Which one was that again? There's
That's
so many.
about.
That's directed by Bennett Miller, the guy who did Capote. It's Steve Carell. It's Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo, and it's about
that
probably
one.
all gonna get nominated.
John DuPont, the guy who ran the Olympic training facility, and he kind of went crazy, and he ended up murdering one of the wrestlers there.
Right.
Steve Carell, you know, people are talking about him for an Oscar. I think once you put on a prosthetic nose, you're probably getting an Oscar nomination. It's because it's what worked for Nicole Kidman, and I always thought she was overrated in Ours, but they put that nose on her, and that was enough.
Change your nose, get an award.
Exactly. You change your face, like did work for
Speaking of
Charlize Theron too. You
someone-
change your face, and you're gonna get an award.
Speaking of someone who has a proboscis of some note, I feel like they didn't really need to put one on him. Like he has a pretty
good
significant
nose, you know?
and he's a
Right,
he's
but
a
his
good,
nose is like Birdman nose
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
in the
Which
movie.
is the other movie that's getting all sorts of
Birdman.
attention.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Birdman up next. Birdman's getting the best reviews of anything I've heard. But in terms of Foxcatcher was supposed to be out last year and be in that Oscar race, but it got delayed. And it's going to be in this Oscar race. So we've been waiting for it for a year. So when you say, like, we've been waiting for it, yeah, we've really been waiting for it.
And it is coming out, like, in December. So
And
it's
is
not
that,
getting
what's it
around.
called? Selma, that movie about Martin Luther King's daughter, also
by
coming
Ava
out
DuVernay.
soon.
Yep, as a potential Oscar contender. It kind of has the whiff of the Butler on it for me.
Yep.
5 minutes, says Mike Phillips. Thank you, Mike.
And
But
then
Birdman.
Birdman
is Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. Michael Keaton.
Yep.
Playing a former actor, an actor who got famous for playing a superhero,
Which
and
is
now
ironic.
I know, and exactly, it is sort of like he is kind of the perfect character for that role, player for that role. So he's trying to make a comeback by playing the character again on stage, and apparently there's some mental things that go on there. But the response to it so far has been extraordinary, like just like this movie is just.
Yeah, that's
everything.
exciting. I like Michael Keaton a lot. I think he's
making a great comeback.
He is, and I'm excited for him. So,
So I have a little story about that.
Okay.
One of my artists that I'm really good friends with worked on a poster for it. And,
for Birdman?
Yep. And he's a traditional illustrator. And he showed me the poster because I can sell his stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this? I was like, wait, it's got Michael, get out all that. Oh, I think, isn't Naomi Watts in it?
I think she's in it. I think Emma Stone.
Here's
Emma
how I
Stone's in
know.
it. Emma
I'm
Stone's
picturing
in it.
the piece of artwork. I'm like, okay, this person, what is it, like TV? Is it a movie? I don't. It was a big, this is like a year and a half ago. I thought, all right, that sounds
because
interesting.
Birdman, the title sounds like some obscure comic.
Right, it was weird. So then I have, from then to now, I've seen every permutation and story behind the movie poster for that movie.
Oh, nice.
Like I know everything about how it happened and how they wound up with the one they had.
Birdman a Hanna-Barbera character? I think he was. I keep hearing him scream out Birdman. So I think it was. It was a Hanna-Barbera superhero. But yeah. So Birdman is getting great reviews. I think that's probably going to be the movie to watch for.
Yeah. When does that come out? November?
I'm not sure if it's October or November.
And then Eleanor
Probably
Rigby keeps
November.
going back and forth. Sometimes people are like, I'm afraid what they've done to it. Have they cut it?
I want to see. I want to see the full version. You know, we got the two separate versions.
That comes out in a couple weeks too.
Yeah, it comes out soon. We got the two separate versions, him and her. And that one is James McAvoy
and Jessica Chastain.
And Jessica Chastain. Everybody loves
and
Jessica
Ned
Chastain.
Benson is the director.
Benson's director.
I think they're. I mean, I'm
It's their
looking forward
baby.
to seeing it, but I think together they make an interesting pair.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to see how that plays out.
But I also think the fact that for so many years she and her bestie, it's a little bit like
Lauren
The
Bradshaw.
Help. Huh?
Her bestie, Lauren Bradshaw. It's her bestie, right?
No, not that one.
You'd think so.
She has an actress friend
She's
who's
a
in
film
it,
critic, by the way.
and then James McAvoy, who was brought in after somebody else dropped
Yep,
out.
and I can't
But
remember who it
Ned
was.
Benson, I mean, it's his baby. It's his. He
Yeah,
wrote it, he directed it. So I'm really hoping for it because they're great actors. So it could be great.
And you always worry when it comes to these kind of experimental projects. Some work out, some don't. This one is basically telling one story through two different points of view, his and hers, obviously. And then there's one version that will be kind of together. That's the one I'm most interested in. But I'm curious about the other versions too. So we'll
so they're
see.
actual different versions of the movie itself.
Oh yeah,
From different perspectives.
Really?
Yeah.
Initially there were two movies, and now they brought it together into one movie. So
that one could be really interesting.
It could be.
I'm
Fingers
interested.
crossed.
Well, yeah,
So,
it could be, and
We'll
it
be
could be a
talking
total
to him.
disaster. Which I
You'll
hope
be
it's
talking
not.
to him.
Yes,
Yes,
we'll be
we'll
talking to him actually, and hopefully we'll have that interview on this show. By the way, how much time we got left, Mike? About a minute. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. I have no idea what comes out next week. I don't think anything of note comes out next week. To be honest,
Identical, which
I'm not going to talk about that on here
certain people
unless it's
will watch.
awesome, which I doubt it is.
I'm looking.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's so painful to watch.
Yeah.
So if you want to go home and rip your
not much, just
almost non-existent hair out,
I know.
you do that.
I think when Tim gets
I see
here,
nothing.
I know when Tim gets here, we'll probably talk about.
But yeah,
fall
other
movies
than
and
that,
stuff some more.
there's nothing. I don't think
Yeah,
anything
there's
major is
nothing
coming
big-
out.
Nothing major is coming out next week. I think Tim and I are going to talk about some movies we saw in Sundance that are coming out soon. I think is what we're going to do. I think we're going to talk about Wetlands. I knew that would make you laugh as soon as I said Wetlands. I think we're going to talk about Wetlands. Get ready for that footage, Mike. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk Frank some more. Me and Tim have talked about Frank a little bit. It's out in theaters in DC now. It's only playing at one theater. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other stuff too. We're going to talk about Whiplash, which I'm on the poster for.
I told him to hang it up.
So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff coming up next week. But I want to thank Mae and Leslie for joining us on Addicted to Film this week. And
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we are out of here. Roll it, Mike.